There's a test that no one knows they're taking. It happens in small moments, in the space between seeing and looking away, in the half-second decision to help or to ignore, in the way we treat people who can offer us nothing. No promotion, no connection, no advantage, just their humanity. Standing in front of us, asking to be seen. Most people fail this test, not because they're cruel, because they're busy, because they've been trained to sort humans into categories: useful and useless, important and invisible, worth my time and not worth my time. It's not personal, it's just efficient. But efficiency has a cost, and the cost is usually paid by people who can't afford it. Chicago in November is a city see. Contrast. The magnificent mile glitters with wealth. Designer stores, doormen in long coats, tourists carrying bags that cost more than some people's rent. 10 miles south, the story changes. Boarded windows, check cashing stores, bus stops where people wait in the cold for rides that never come on time. Nathan Cross knew both Chicagos. He had grown up in one, he had conquered the other. And now at 43 years old, he existed in the strange space between them. A man who could buy entire city blocks, but still remembered what it felt like to count coins for a bus fare. $8 billion. That's what the magazine said he was worth. Founder of Cross-Chain Technologies, pioneer of decentralized finance, the man who had predicted the crypto boom 3 years before it happened, and positioned himself to catch the wave. But numbers like that don't mean anything. Not really. They're just abstractions, pixels on a screen. The distance between 8 billion and 800 is so vast that both become equally unimaginable. What matters is what you do with it. What matters is who you become when no one is watching. Nathan had a ritual. Once a year, same week, same method, he would transform himself, not into a superhero, into something more radical. He would become invisible. Old jeans from a thrift store, a jacket with a torn sleeve, shoes that had seen better decades. No watch, no phone visible, nothing that signaled wealth or status or belonging. He would strip away every marker of success until all that remained was a middle-aged man who looked like life had not been kind. And then he would walk into one of his own stores. Cross-chain had expanded beyond crypto. Electronics, smart home devices, a chain of 47 retail locations across the Midwest. Most customers didn't know the connection. The stores operated under a different name. Tech Nova. Clean, modern, the kind of place where salespeople worked on commission and learned quickly who was worth their time. Nathan's test was simple. He would enter a store, browse, ask questions, see how he was treated when he looked like he couldn't afford anything on the shelves. In 5 years, no one had passed. The patterns were always the same. Employees would glance at him, then look away. Conversations would end when he approached. Questions would be answered with monosyllables, if they were answered at all. Sometimes he'd be followed by security. Sometimes he'd be asked to leave. Once in Indianapolis, a manager had literally stepped between him and a display, blocking his view of a laptop like he might contaminate it with his poverty. Nathan documented everything, not for revenge. He'd fired the Indianapolis manager, but quietly months later, for unrelated reasons. He documented it because he needed to remember what his mother had taught him before she died. She had been a cleaning woman, 53 years old, chest pains for 3 days before she finally went to the emergency room. She sat in the waiting area for 7 hours, watched people who arrived after her get seen first. People with better clothes, better insurance, better ways of demanding attention. By the time a doctor finally examined her, the heart attack had done its damage. She died 2 days later. Not because medicine couldn't save her, because the people who could have helped her decided she wasn't worth rushing for. Nathan was 24 when it happened. Broke, angry, drowning in grief that would take years to process. He made a promise that night, standing in a hospital hallway, staring at a door that would never open again. He promised that if he ever had power, He would use it to find people who saw the invisible, people who treated everyone with dignity, regardless of what they looked like or what they could offer. 5 years of searching, 47 stores, hundreds of employees. No one had passed until today. The Tech Nova on South Hosted Street was unremarkable. Same layout as every other location, same fluorescent lights, same displays arranged to maximize impulse purchases. Nathan walked in at 2:47 p.m., wearing his disguise of poverty, expecting the same results he always got. He didn't know that in the next 40 minutes, a 22-year-old girl named Destiny Williams would restore something in him that he thought had died with his mother. And he didn't know that what he would do next would change both of their lives forever. The store was half empty. A Tuesday afternoon in November, the kind of day when people stayed home, avoiding the wind that cut through Chicago like a warning. A few customers browsed the laptop section. A mother argued with her teenager about phone upgrades. 2 employees stood near the register, scrolling through their phones, waiting for their shifts to end. Nathan walked in and felt the familiar weight of invisibility settle over him. He moved slowly, deliberately, giving everyone time to notice him, to assess him, to make their calculations. The first employee, a young man with gelled hair and an expensive watch that didn't match his salary, looked up. His eyes scanned Nathan's torn jacket, his worn shoes, his uncombed hair. The calculation took less than a second. Not worth it. He returned to his phone. The second employee didn't even look up. Nathan drifted toward the accessories section. Cables, chargers, phone cases, the cheapest items in the store. The section where people like him were supposed to stay. He picked up a charging cable. $12. Pretended to study it like it was the most important purchase of his life. Minutes passed. No one approached. No one asked if he needed help. He was furniture, background noise, a problem that would solve itself if everyone just ignored it long enough. This was the part that never got easier, the part that reminded him of his mother, sitting in that waiting room, watching the clock, wondering why no one would look at her. Nathan was about to leave. Another failed test. Another store full of people who had learned to sort humans by appearance. When he heard a voice, "That one's good, but it's not the best value." He turned. She was young, 22, maybe 23. Natural hair pulled back. Uniform shirt a size too big, like it had been handed down from someone else. A name tag that said Destiny in letters that were starting to fade. She wasn't looking at him like the others had. She was looking at the cable in his hand. "The $12 one works fine," she said. "But it's only 3 feet. If you need to charge your phone while you're using it, that's going to be a problem. The $15 one is 6 feet and has a reinforced tip. Lasts way longer." Nathan stared at her. In 5 years, no one had ever voluntarily approached him during these tests. He played his part, hesitant, embarrassed. "I'm not sure I can afford the 15. Most employees would have walked away at that point. Commission wasn't worth the effort of selling a $3 upgrade to someone who looked like they couldn't afford it anyway. Destiny nodded. No judgment, no impatience. "Okay, let's figure it out. What do you need it for?" "Phone, tablet, laptop?" "Phone," Nathan said. "Old one, battery doesn't hold like it used to." "Android or iPhone?" "Android." She walked him through the options patiently, thoroughly, explaining the difference between cables, between charging speeds, between brands that looked the same but weren't. She spoke to him the way a teacher speaks to a student, the way a human speaks to another human. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The other employees watched. Nathan could feel their confusion. Why was Destiny wasting her time? Why was she treating this guy like an actual customer? Didn't she understand how commission worked? One of them, the one with the gelled hair, walked over. "Destiny, there's a customer in laptops who actually needs help." The emphasis on actually was sharp, intentional. Destiny didn't flinch. "I'm with a customer right now. she said. I'll be there when I'm done. This guy's looking at $12 cables, and he deserves the same service as someone looking at $1,200 laptops. The other employee laughed. Short, dismissive. He walked away, shaking his head. Destiny turned back to Nathan. Something flickered in her eyes, not embarrassment, not anger, something heavier. The look of someone who was used to being underestimated. Sorry about that, she said. You don't have to apologize. I know, she shrugged. But I also don't have to be like him. She helped Nathan for another 20 minutes. Found him a cable that was on clearance. Same quality as the $15 one. Marked down to $9 because the packaging was damaged. She tested it to make sure it worked. She even found a coupon code on her phone that took off another $1, $8.47. That was his total. As she rang him up, Nathan studied her. The tired eyes that suggested more than one job. The careful way she counted his change. Like she understood what it meant to not have enough. The small kindness in every gesture. Offered freely, expecting nothing in return. Can I ask you something? Nathan said. Sure. Why did you help me? Your coworker was right. I'm not exactly your best commission opportunity. Destiny handed him the bag. Looked at him directly for the first time. My grandmother used to say something. The way you treat people who can't do anything for you is the way God measures your heart. She smiled, tired but real. I don't know if I believe in God, but I believe in that. Nathan took the bag. What's your name again? Destiny. Destiny. He nodded. I won't forget that. She laughed softly, the laugh of someone who had heard promises before and learned not to hold on to them. Have a good day, sir. Stay warm out there. He walked out into the Chicago cold, and for the first time in 5 years, someone had passed the test. The next morning, 3 black SUVs pulled up in front of Technova on South Halsted Street. It was 9:47 a.m. The store had been open for less than an hour. The same Tuesday morning emptiness hung in the air. The same fluorescent lights hummed overhead. The same employees scrolled through their phones, waiting for something to happen. Something was about to happen. The first person through the door was a woman in a tailored suit, then 2 men with earpieces, then a photographer, then a woman with a tablet, typing furiously, and finally, walking calmly behind them all, a man in a charcoal overcoat that cost more than most cars, Nathan Cross. But not the Nathan Cross from yesterday, not the torn jacket and worn shoes, not the invisible man browsing the clearance section. This was the Nathan Cross from magazine covers, from Bloomberg interviews, from the Forbes list of America's most innovative entrepreneurs. The store went silent. The manager, a man named Peters, who had been in the back doing inventory, came rushing out. His face cycled through confusion, recognition, and panic in the span of 3 seconds. Mr. Cross, he stammered. Sir, we didn't know you were coming. If you had called ahead, we would have. I didn't want you to prepare, Nathan said. His voice was calm, measured, the voice of a man who had learned to wield silence like a weapon. I wanted to see the truth. He looked around the store, at the displays, at the employees frozen in place, at the young man with gelled hair who had dismissed him yesterday, now pale with the slow realization of what was happening. Where is she? Nathan asked. Who, sir? Destiny Williams. She works here. Peters blinked. Destiny? She's in the back. Stocking inventory. I can get her. Bring her here. Now. The manager disappeared. The silence stretched. Nathan's team spread out through the store. The photographer documenting everything. The woman with the tablet taking note. The other employees stood frozen, trying to calculate how much trouble they were in. The young man with the gelled hair, his name tag said Trevor, stepped forward. His confidence from yesterday had evaporated. Cross, sir, I just want to say that we always strive to provide excellent customer service, and if there was any misunderstanding yesterday, There was no misunderstanding. Nathan looked at him. I understood perfectly. You saw a man who looked poor and decided he wasn't worth your time. That's not a misunderstanding. That's a choice. Trevor's mouth opened, closed. No words came. The back door swung open. Destiny walked out, still holding a box of phone cases. She was wearing the same oversized uniform shirt, the same faded name tag, the same tired eyes that suggested she hadn't slept enough. She stopped when she saw the crowd. What's going on? She looked at her manager, at the people in suits, at the photographer, and finally, at the man in the charcoal overcoat. Recognition flickered across her face, but not the recognition of fame. Something else. I know you, she said slowly. You were here yesterday, the charging cable. Nathan smiled, for the first time since walking in. You remember? Of course I remember. She set down the box. You were nice, polite. Most people who come in looking like, she stopped, realized what she was about to say. Looking like they can't afford anything, Nathan finished. Destiny met his eyes. No apology, no backtracking. Yeah, most people who come in looking like life hasn't been kind to them get treated like they're invisible. You weren't rude about it. You just wanted a cable. She paused. Wait, why are you here? Why are all these people here? Nathan reached into his coat, pulled out a small bag, the same bag Destiny had handed him yesterday, with the $8 cable inside. Do you know who I am, Destiny? She shook her head. My name is Nathan Cross. I own this store. I own all 47 Technova locations. I also own Cross-Chain Technologies, which is worth approximately $8 billion as of this morning's market open. The color drained from Destiny's face. I don't understand. Once a year, I do what I did yesterday. I dress like someone who has nothing. I walk into one of my stores, and I see how my employees treat people who look like they can't offer them anything. He stepped closer to her. In 5 years, Destiny, you are the first person who passed the test. She stared at him. The box of phone cases sat forgotten at her feet. I wasn't taking a test, she said quietly. I was just doing my job. No, Nathan shook his head. Everyone here has the same job, the same training, the same commission structure. But you're the only one who spent 40 minutes helping a man buy an $8 cable. You're the only one who defended me when your coworker tried to pull you away. You're the only one who treated me like a human being instead of a waste of time. He turned to his team. Get the documents. The woman with the tablet stepped forward, pulling a folder from her bag. Destiny Williams, Nathan said, I have a few questions for you, and depending on your answers, the next hour is going to change your life. Destiny looked at the folder, at Nathan, at the store full of people watching her like she was the main character in a story she hadn't agreed to be part of. What kind of questions? Nathan smiled. The kind that mattered. Nathan gestured toward the break room. Somewhere private. Just us. Destiny followed him, leaving behind the photographers, the assistants, the manager who looked like he might faint, and the co-workers who had spent months treating her like she was invisible. The break room was small. A table, 4 chairs, a microwave that had seen better years, a motivational poster on the wall that said teamwork makes the dream work, in letters that were starting to peel. Nathan sat down. Destiny sat across from him. I'm going to ask you some questions, he said. Answer honestly. There are no wrong answers, only true ones and false ones. I'll know the difference. Destiny nodded. Her hands were shaking slightly under the table. She pressed them against her knees to make them stop. Why are you working here? She blinked. Because I need the money. That's why everyone works. Why here? Why this store? Why not somewhere else? Destiny thought about it. Really thought. Because it was the only place that called me back. I applied to 43 jobs after I dropped out of college. Retail, fast food, warehouse, anything. This was the only one that said yes. Why did you drop out? A shadow crossed her face. My mom got sick. Lupus. She couldn't work anymore and someone had to pay the bills. My little brother is 12. He needs things. School supplies, winter coat, food. She shrugged. College wasn't going anywhere. My family needed me here. Nathan was quiet for a moment. What were you studying? Business administration. I was in my third year. Dean's List twice. A flicker of something, pride maybe, or grief for a life that had been interrupted. I was going to graduate and get a real job. Help my mom retire. Maybe start something of my own one day. Start what? Destiny laughed softly. The laugh of someone sharing a dream they had stopped believing in. A community center in my neighborhood. Southside kids don't have anywhere to go after school. They end up on corners, getting into trouble, because there's nothing else. I wanted to build a place where they could learn things. Coding, business, music, whatever they wanted. A place where someone would look at them and see potential instead of problems. Nathan opened the folder on the table. Your employee file says you've been written up twice. Once for spending too much time with a customer. Once for giving a discount you weren't authorized to give. Destiny's jaw tightened. An old woman came in looking for a tablet for her grandson. She was $60 short. I used my own employee discount to make up the difference. Peters said I violated company policy. You did. I know. She looked at him directly. I'd do it again. Nathan studied her. The defiance in her eyes. The exhaustion underneath it. The quiet, unshakable conviction that being kind was worth more than being compliant. He slid the folder across the table. Open it. Destiny opened it. Inside was a document, dense with legal language, numbers with a lot of zeros. I don't understand what this is. It's a scholarship, full ride, any university in the country, room, board, books, everything, enough to finish your degree and then some. Destiny stared at the paper like it might disappear if she looked away. There's more, Nathan said. A monthly stipend for your family while you're in school. Your mother's medical bills paid. Your brother's education fund established. And when you graduate, a guaranteed position in my company. Not entry-level, management track. With a path to executive leadership if you wanted. Tears were forming in her eyes. She blinked them back. Why? Her voice cracked. I just helped you buy a cable. No, Nathan shook his head. You did something much bigger than that. You reminded me why I do this. He leaned forward. My mother was a cleaning woman. She died because people in a hospital looked at her and decided she wasn't worth their time. I built everything I have because of that. Because I promised myself I would find people who see the invisible. People who treat everyone with dignity. People who understand that kindness isn't a weakness. It's the only thing that matters. He tapped the document. I've been looking for 5 years, Destiny. 5 years, 47 stores, hundreds of employees, and you're the first person who showed me that what my mother taught me is still alive somewhere. Destiny wiped her eyes. What about my community center? Nathan smiled. Page 4. She flipped to page 4, read it again. The Nathan Cross Foundation will provide initial funding of $2 million for the establishment of a youth development center in the south side of Chicago, to be named and directed by, she couldn't finish, by you, Nathan said. When you're ready, after you graduate, after you've learned what you need to learn, that center will exist. Because of who you are, because of what you did in 40 minutes with a stranger who looked like he had nothing. Destiny was crying now, not hiding it anymore. I don't know what to say. Say yes. She looked up at the billionaire who had walked into her store, dressed like a homeless man, looking for something money couldn't buy. Yes, she whispered. Yes. Nathan stood up, extended his hand. Welcome to the beginning of your life, Destiny Williams. She took his hand, shook it. Outside, the Chicago wind howled against the windows. Inside, something had changed. A test had been passed. A promise had been kept. A life had been transformed. Not because of luck, because of 40 minutes of kindness in a world that had forgotten what kindness was worth.